Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey to give you my opening night lineup prediction for the Tampa Bay Lightning for the 2019-2020 season. So if you are here, of course, please do subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and of course, please drop a like if you appreciate the content, want more content, and I'm really excited for the upcoming season, so definitely leave your comments below on what you think on my lineup prediction. So we're going to get right into the forward group, and let me know what you think. So the forward group for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they just signed Patrick Maroon, and my St. Louis Blues lineup is going to come out soon. And obviously Patrick Maroon will not be part of that. He will be part of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And right off the bat, I see him given an opportunity to be on that top line with Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov. You saw what Patrick Maroon did with two more skilled players in Tyler Bozak and Robert Thomas. Obviously not to the magnitude of Stamkos and Kucherov, but Maroon can do exactly that. He can be physical, he can get the puck to these two guys, kind of like what Zach Hyman does for John Tavares and Mitch Marner. So you'll see something like that in those terms. The second line, Yanni Gourde, Braden Point, obviously need to re-sign Braden Point, and Tyler Johnson as your second line. Johnson, who obviously is more, I would say, familiar in the center role, but he definitely can play on the right wing. And obviously if injuries do occur, then you know you're comfortable with Tyler Johnson being up the middle. And then the third line, Anthony Cirelli, centering that third line with Andre Palat and Killorn. So I think that's a very solid third line, probably one of the best in the league. And then your fourth line, Martel, Paquette, and Joseph. There's some grit there. Martel, you know, he's not afraid to drop the gloves. Paquette, he is definitely an agitator. And Matthew Joseph, who could definitely move up in the lineup when need be. He's definitely a young, up-and-coming player. I think he could even be on that third line. Maybe there's a trade. Maybe Palat or Killorn still get traded in the future. Maybe even Tyler Johnson, but I think they find value in him being able to play both positions. So we'll see with the Lightning, but I definitely think Matthew Joseph is no fourth liner. Let's move on to the defense group. So the defense, they just signed Kevin Shattenkirk out of his buyout with the New York Rangers. So I don't see him having a huge role to maybe start. I think they're going to try to have him get comfortable with the team. So at the end of the day, I think Sergachev might be the guy to move up on that top pair with Victor Hedman. Obviously, that was Anton Strawman. He has moved on to the Florida Panthers. So Sergachev and Hedman. Sergachev, it might be his time to step up and play a top role with Hedman. Hedman, a Norris candidate. He's one of the best in the league, in my opinion. Might be the best. So I think that's a very solid top pairing. Obviously, Sergachev, still a very young player, and he's going to keep developing. And then I think that second pair stays the same in what it was last year. They were very solid defensively. McDonough had an unreal plus minus. It was in the 30s. Obviously, we don't just look at plus minus, but in terms of statistics and just what you saw on the ice from those two guys defensively for the Lightning, they were top notch. So I believe McDonough and Chernak will stay together. And then the third pairing of Coburn, who you re-signed with Shattenkirk, the newbie. Obviously, I think Shattenkirk maybe could find time with Hedman if Sergachev wants to go back to his old buddy in Coburn. But I do believe that will be your top six, and Ruda will be your extra defenseman, and then your goalies, Vasilevsky and McElhinney, who you signed. So McElhinney has just gotten better as he's gotten older, and I think he's going to be a very good veteran backup goalie. You can play 15-20 games, and Vasilevsky is going to be that top 10 goaltender, top 5 arguably for a lot of people, and then maybe even top 3. So I think Vasilevsky definitely will keep getting better. I think he's in his prime right now, and obviously he wants to bounce back from the sweep at the hands of the Columbus Blue Jackets from last year. So thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think on my lineup predictions. Obviously, it's debatable. I think for that defense group, it's probably going to start like that. There is some question marks on what Shattenkirk can bring at his age, even though he's only just at the beginning of his 30s. And with a guy like Sergachev, can he step up to the plate? And a new guy in Patrick Maroon, is he going to start in the third or fourth line or in the top 6? That's definitely a huge question mark. They still have to re-sign Braden Point as I make this video, so that's another question mark for the Lightning. A few question marks, but we believe the Lightning will be a top team once again. Can they do it in the playoffs? That is the ultimate question. So thank you. Of course, subscribe if you're new. Drop a like. This was John from Hot Take Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.